All right, so in this enrichment lesson, we are going to talk about the rhetorical précis. We have done a rhetorical précis together, and now you are being asked to submit one for a quiz grade. I offered you the chance to work with a partner, or you can work on your own. However, I wanted to post this video to give those of you who are still a little unsure a little more guidance. So let's start overall with reminding ourselves what a rhetorical précis even is. It is a 4-sentence paragraph, always. It will never be more than 4 sentences. It's a very, very structured paragraph that works at both analyzing the rhetorical moves of the author while also summarizing an article. So you and I get together and we read a 4-page article, and then I want you to write a précis on it. So what a précis is going to do is it's going to work as like an abstract. And an abstract would usually come on top, and it would give you a small glimpse into what the article is going to be about. So take all of the summary skills that you guys know and love from reading literature and transfer some of those skills while also blending in rhetoric. So we are going to talk about the main claims being made, or the big ideas, but we're also going to talk about the rhetorical moves that we've been working with throughout all of our modules. So we're going to go sentence by sentence, talking about them, explaining what goes into them. I'm going to show you a template, and then you're on your own for your quiz. So let's start with sentence 1. So sentence 1 over here says, what does the author say? And from being in our class and doing the charts together, right, those loved charts where one side says saying and the other is doing, we know that the left side of our chart that says saying, that's where we summarize just what's being said, right? We chunk into paragraphs. What's being said in this paragraph? What could I summarize from this? The right side of the chart does not look at summary. That's when you need to use those beautiful rhetorically active verbs. And you need to tell me, what is the author doing here? Are they including statistics? Are they persuading you? Are they arguing? All of that. So in the first sentence, which is typically the most formal, you're going to need 6 pieces. The first one, maybe being the most obvious. I think there's probably 2 obvious ones here. So let's just knock them out now. The most obvious is going to be the author and the title. So that takes care of 2 parts, right? As a reader, I need to know what I'm reading about, and I need to know who wrote it. If I pick up an abstract or a précis, I've never read the article and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to. So I need you to tell me who wrote it and what it's called, otherwise I'm lost. The third part that's going to help readers distinguish what they're reading is you need to put the publication date. What date was it written? Because there is a lot of really great information out there. However, I need to know if the stats I'm reading are from 2020 or if they're from 1970. Because in those 40 years between, a lot has happened. So when I'm reading the statistics, I need to be able to know how relevant and current they are. So you always need the date of publication. Okay, so in so-and-so's 2003 article, now I know what year it is, and I know how to situate like my understanding of the statistics. The fourth thing you're going to need to do is tell me, what kind of text is this? Is it a speech? Is it a chapter? Is it a book? Is it an article, a column, a magazine? Because again, it makes a really big difference. It makes a difference where it came from, right? We've been reading a lot of New York Times articles. So to put that in your first sentence is just giving me more information of what I'm reading. So let's put type. So the type of text, what am I reading, right? So those are the 4 parts that are just going to take you delving into the text a little, right? It's just kind of like plugging in. It's going to be the same look every time. What's the title? Who's the author? When was it published? And what type of text is this? The 5th and 6th ones are going to be where you have to start turning on your summary skills. So when we're summarizing an article or anything, what we're doing is looking for the main points, right? If you have to summarize a short story to me or a book, all I want is the main points. Now, when we're looking at an article that's 3 pages, there's probably only one huge big point. They might hit it in different ways and explain it a little bit more here and there, but overall, there's typically one main claim. So you're gonna need to put the main claim. And I skipped number 5 because when you introduce the main claim, you need to use a RAV, or a rhetorically active verb. So no more author says, author states, author thinks, author argues, author asserts, author commands, author persuades, right? It makes your writing stronger, and it's more rhetorical than just author says, author states, author says. It's gonna make your writing so much better. So here, I'm just gonna write RAV. You guys know what RAVs are. So that's what goes in your first sentence. That's it. That's all you have to do. But again, we're talking about the main claim because we're summarizing. So what is the author saying? We read that whole article about No Lunch Left Behind. The article saying that there's a huge obesity epidemic and we need to do more about our school lunches, right? They're not contributing at all, or they're contributing everything to the obesity epidemic. And what we need to do is start fixing it. So that's gonna be your sentence 1. I'm gonna share my screen with you so that you can see the template we've been working with. This is sentence 1. You're just gonna fill in the blanks with what you already know about your article. So again, the author's full name, the publication date. This right here where it says A, you will scroll down and you'll pick, right? We said this. Are you looking at an article? Are you looking at a book, a chapter, an essay? What are you looking at? So that's gonna go here. The title, and then B, scroll down. That's where your RAV goes, right? Those are the RAVs we know and love. And then the central claim. So you're gonna plug all of this in and make it one beautiful sentence of 4, right? Our Precis is 4 sentences. And that's gonna be your first sentence. So if we move on to sentence 2, we're gonna need only 3 parts. Now we've moved on from the summary, right? Now we've moved on to do, which is what is the author doing? How is the text being presented? How is the argument being presented? And we need to look at how the author is making rhetorical moves. So in sentence 2, you only need 3 parts. One of them is the author's name. Yes, you have to repeat it. I know you might think that it sounds repetitive and a little clunky, but you need to. You always want to give credit to the author, so keep saying the name. Number 2, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need the first rhetorical move. Okay, does the author give examples? Does the author give statistics? Does the author give personal anecdotes? Any testimonies? What's the first rhetorical move? Remember, rhetorical moves being appeals, right? Are they appealing to your head, to your heart, or are they appealing to your ethos, like your credibility? So what's the first way that they persuade you? Rhetoric is all about persuasion. What's the first way they do it? The third thing you're gonna need is the second rhetorical move. And why there's 2 there is because you have to assume that in a 3-page article, they're gonna do more than one technique. Okay, they're not just gonna hit you with a couple facts and then go off on this tangent, right? Now it's not persuasion. They're gonna employ more than one rhetorical move, and your job is to pick 2 and discuss them. That's what the author does. So I'm gonna share my screen again for the template, and you'll see here, author's last name supports or develops his or her claim, right? The claim is from the first sentence. By first, what do they do? And then, what do they do next? So you're trying to pull out these rhetorical structures and evidencing them. So please don't just say, Rifkin supports or develops his or her claim by first giving examples and then giving statistics. Giving examples of what? Giving statistics of what, right? And all of that should result back or should reflect on the central claim. All right, that's sentence 2. We're halfway done. Sentence 3, what motivated the author to write this? I would argue with you that there is always motivation behind writing argumentatively or persuasively. You always want something to come out of it, right? We read that Rifkin article about empathy for animals called A Change of Heart. What was his point in writing that? What did he want to happen? We talked that he wanted more empathy, right? He wanted people to feel for animals. He wanted people to start seeing animals closer to humans and gaining empathy for people outside of our breed. So that was his motivation, right? He wanted something from us. After you read anything with rhetorical moves or that's trying to persuade you, that author wants you to do something. So let's go back to our example of those commercials where the dogs are chained up and kind of hovering and it's freezing outside and that song's playing. What's the motivation of their commercial? They want you to donate, you know what I mean? They want you to give money. So that's their motivation. Their motivation a little bit farther than just getting money is they want to help animals, right? They want you to watch the commercial, connect to the animal, donate money, and therefore they can start fulfilling what they'd like in saving animals. That's their motivation. So when it comes to writing, it's like, why did the author write this? What do they want me to get at the end? Think of that as a reader. What does the author want me to get? What do they want me to do? Is there an action that your author now wants you to take? If you listen to a very powerful speech, what do they want you to do at the end? Just think about it. If somebody's ever trying to persuade you, they're trying to get you to do something. There's motivation behind it. So in sentence 3 of our template, you'll see the author's purpose is to, you're going to pick one of these, to show, convince, persuade, point out. Point out what, right? So Jeremy Rifkin's, the author's purpose is to point out animal abuse and the mistreatment in order to what? What does he want me to do? In order to, educate humans on becoming more empathetic towards animals because we're more alike than we think. So what is the author's purpose and what do they want us to do? That's sentence 4, the motivation. Okay, sentence 4 of 4. So you are going to need 3 things. You are going to need the author. Like I said, it feels repetitive and it might be repetitive, but you need it. Put the author's name again. You have to. The second thing, I should have read this sentence to you first. I'm so sorry. To whom did the author write and with what tone did they have with their audience? Who is this for? Okay, we're always talking about audience. Did Jeremy Rifkin write his article for kindergartners? Probably not. Did he write it for elderly? Maybe, who knows? But we talked about how it was written in the New York Post, right? And we talked about how the New York Times has a highly credited name to them. So what does that mean? Who's the audience? Try to make it as small as you can, okay? Maybe he's writing to animal enthusiasts. Maybe he's writing to people who already abuse animals. So you're gonna need to include their first and last name again. The author, say their name. The second thing you're gonna have to include is to whom. What does that mean? That means your audience. So you need to include that. So you have to include your audience. Who are they talking to? Who is this written for? Who are they trying to persuade and change? And the final thing you need to write is the tone. What's the tone of the article? Is it really assertive? Is it very argumentative? What's the tone? And so those are the three things that you're going to need for your last sentence. Who are they writing it for and how did they write it? What's the tone coming across? So I'm going to share the template with you one more time. And you'll see in sentence 4, author's last name, writes in a, and here's some tones you can choose from. Is it formal? Is it informal? Sarcastic? Colloquial? Academic? Conversational? Is it urgent? Are they urging you to do it now? Like make the change now or never? What's the tone and who do they write it for? And that, my friends, is your 4-sentence précis. Just a little recap, it's always 4 sentences. It's a really beautiful blend of summary and analyzing. You need to tell me what they said, and then you need to analyze how well they supported themselves. It's always 4 sentences, and this is what's included. You have the template for your quizzes, so please use them.